Hello everyone, and this is Cameron. In today's video, I will discuss some amazing features in Zoom meeting which you can apply to make you more relaxed and comfortable during your classes and meetings. Let's discuss those features and settings. Okay, first open your Zoom account. Just write since it's already just sign in, so I do not need it. I just clicked my account. So it will take me to this profile, meetings, webinars, recordings, and settings option. So this is the setting option which I will discuss in today's video. Here are some amazing options which you can utilize for your meetings and classes. It's been more than a month now I have been using the software, and when I found these settings, from that day I become so relaxed during my classes. Okay, so first of all is the host video. Start meetings with host video on. I think it's probably not a good idea to enable it. Then the participant video, also just disable this option. But yeah, during the meeting you can change them anytime. So, but it's always better just to start the meeting uh, with while disabling these two options. So next setting here is join before host. It's probably not a good idea to allow the participant to join the meeting before the host arrives. So always just disable this option, because if you enable this option, it will allow the participant to join the meeting before you arrive. So it's probably not a good idea. I'm just skipping other tabs, just directly take you to some those features which I find they are just amazing, and you should know it if you are having some classes or meetings through Zoom. Yes, this is also mute participants upon entry. Automatically, if you enable this option, what it will do, it will mute all the participants when they join the meeting. Because if you are taking the classes and uh, and you have many participants, it can cause some sort of noises, and so it's probably a good idea just to mute the participant upon entry. Okay, let's just have a look on chat option. Allow the participant to send a message visible to all participants. So you can also enable or enable or disable this option. But to me, I always disable it, because if you allow the participant, they can write some uh, inappropriate things in the chatting. But in chat option, there are multiple options. You can allow them just and not to send any messages publicly. You can also allow them just to write only to the host, which will allow them just to text only to the host, but not to anyone in private or not in publicly. So you can just use any of the options, depend on your circumstances. File transfer option, this will allow the host and participants to share some files during the meeting. Yeah, this is screen sharing. I think it's always a good idea just to enable this option and click host only. Because if you just click all participants, then what will happen? It will allow the participant to share their screens or the contents during the meeting, which can be very disturbing if someone just share some inappropriate things with this screen share feature. So you can use the option according to your circumstances. Then is annotation option. Allow the participant to use the annotation tool to add information to share screen. During my first few classes, what happened, some participants just start writing something on my screen, and I was unable to understand how can I handle it. Then I just found actually this feature. If you, so it's always a good idea to just to disable it. But what you can do during the meeting, you can enable it, and there is an option which allow you just to show the names of the annotators. So, but it's also a good idea just to disable this option so that the participant will not use this annotation tool to write anything on your shared screen. Allow remote participants to rejoin. During the meeting or class, the Zoom software allow you to remove any of the disturbing participant. But if you just enable this option, what will happen? All those participants who were removed by you, they can rejoin the meeting. So if you want them just to rejoin, you can enable this option, but in other case, you just disable it. All participants to rename themselves is also a good idea not to enable it, because it will allow them to it will allow the participant to rename themselves during the meeting, which is probably not a good idea. Hide participants profile picture in the meeting. I always prefer to use this option as well, because if you just disable all other options for the participants, so what happens, some participants try to use some inappropriate pictures which can disturb the environment of full class. So it's probably a good idea just to hide the profile pictures in the meeting, especially for all the participants. And especially if you are recording the video, so if some participant is using their pics, it will show in your screen, so it's probably not a good idea. So always enable this option. Yeah, this is a virtual background. Most of them may know about this. If you enable this option, then during the meeting, you can change your virtual background. But this, in order to use this particular feature, your laptop should support this this option. Or alternatively, you can have some green screen in your background. So then also you can use this virtual background option. Then finally, this waiting room option. This is also the fantastic option feature in Zoom. If you enable this option, this will allow you as a host to create a waiting room. What will happen? It will automatically create it. If you enable this option, when the participant will join the meeting, Zoom software will take them to the waiting room. Then it's totally on the discretion of the host that if he or she just admit the participant. This option is also useful because it allows you just to make everything ready before the participant join the meeting. So, so it's always better idea just to enable this option. So these are some amazing settings which I really like. If you like my video, please remember to like and subscribe my channel. If you have any question regarding this setting, please do not hesitate to write me in comments. Thanks for the watching. Bye.